Hey, good morning, everyone. It's just about 5 a.m. on Thursday morning. Um, and I wanted to go over for week two um, my code and some of the features, the two features that I've had from previously set up in the past. Professor Tech has given me permission to elaborate further on a project I did for a previous class. Um, I wanted to get this video up just for the sake of having something up here in case I get behind. I don't think I will, but I'm still continuing my research on how to incorporate Bootstrap into Python. Hopefully I'll have that going up later tonight, and this video update is sometime between now and Sunday. But for now, wanted to show you basically the code, the functionality, etc. So of course we have our main.py here, and we have our code where we import our web app to, and then I am importing pages from form page, results page, and I'm importing a library from conversions, which you'll see in the other text that we'll have coming later on. So here we have our variables set for invoking the functions, etc., from form page and results page class and the conversions class. Okay, so we have those properly being called in the main handler. Alright. And then we have the information here that stores the first name, last name, the email, the 50 time, the 25 time from the form. It stores the conversions that are invoked from the pages.py file, which I'll show you in a minute, to pull the originally submitted times and then to convert them and show them to the user. Invoking variables that are needed to further output pardon me, results to the user, and write the original HTML in the head, the body, and the close. Of course, we get this in the self-request.get form, and we have different variables and how they're named and how they're called. Okay, and then we have our self-response.write call here, and of course it'll pull head 1, body 2, head 2, body 2, and close 2. I'm sorry, that's commented out. That's not what it's going to pull. It's going to pull the head, the body, and the close. So let me go up here. So back to the top of the code, we go into our pages section. And of course, we have our form page class with the init function to pull the title, the CSS styling, and set up the HTML on the site that the form has. And then taking the information from the user, and the form code is using get methods to pull the information to later be used in the equations in the functions below, and to be invoked in the main handler later. So we have our form page class, our init function, self.title, self CSS, self head. We have that, etc. in there. We have the HTML for the app, form IDs, which I'll show you in a second, and our different input fields, how that's set up. Then we have the printout itself, okay, and then of course we have our styling, etc. And get some other code commented out there. I'm trying to remember what that was. That was paragraphs. We don't need that. And of course down here, okay, that we close out the HTML and the body tags, and we call the self.body2 and the self.close.2. Then we go down here where we have our equations that I had set up previously. Okay, for the functions that take the variable to utilize the free 1, free 2, free 3, and free 4 conversions. These equations will take into the original time submitted and convert them to the new times that will later be invoked in the main handler and displayed to the user. So we have these things being called and invoked here. Print using in return. Okay. And so that's for the pages section. Then I need to go to the library section, I believe, for the conversions. I think I need to clean up some math here. because the first set of the conversions worked out fine. The other conversions seemed a little askew. It might be an order of operations thing that I'll have to go in and fix a little later. But we have our conversions class set up in the library to later be invoked in the main handler with the init function that is initially set up to set conversion first, conversion second attributes to private so that they can only be changed by the user's initial input or by the main admin. Okay, so we have that set there. Okay, functions methods set up below to define invocations that will be used in the main handler to give them proper numbers to use in the equations to make conversions. They also have the print and return commands to release the information to be utilized later in the invocations of main handler. Of course, we have here our conversions. We have our names for them, and of course what we're doing with conversion 1, multiplying it by 1.11. Okay, conversion 2, and we just have the numbers that we're trying to multiply, divide by, and add. Now here is one of the things I think I have going wrong. I don't know if I have to use a grouping symbol or something like that, because here's multiplying hopefully first, conversion 4 times 0.555, and then adding 0.04, but I'll have to double check that, see if that's converting properly or not. And then of course we have our getters and setters used to get the information and set it to make it readable and writable from the private attributes, and set above from the beginning of the line of code. And the variables 50 original, 25 original will represent the initial time submitted into the form to be properly utilized later in the equations and the invocations. So, alright, so that's the code part. Let's just look at the basic functionality of this. I was running this previously in Google App Engine Launcher. Okay, so we have our reusable library here. I'm going to browse, and this is basically what we have. The first feature I wanted to show you is this hover state. As you can see, if you're not hovering over it, it's kind of got the gray background. Hover over it, you got the yellow, and of course that aesthetic is set up in the CSS, etc. Now the functionality of this is to submit your first name, last name, email, 50-yard time, and 25-yard split time. These is for swimming races, and where people can, put in their first name, last name, their email. Here's a 50 times, let's say 24 flat, and let's say they're out in 12.5. Okay. Now, one of the things swimmers usually like to have, especially when they compete moving throughout their seasons and their life, is there's 3 formats to compete in. There's what we call short course yards, short course meters, and long course meters. Okay, short course yards and short course meters both being what we 25 length of the pool, meaning 25 yards or 25 meters. And then, of course, 50-meter time, which is like the Olympic-sized pools you see on TV with your Olympians out there when they race. It's really helpful to have a tool to try to, convert your times, especially when you're doing meet entries or trying to communicate with your coach or a goal set. And this, of course, does this for you. So you put in your times, you hit submit, and then it spits out, hi Chad Buist, converted times are for 50-meter short course 26.64, long course 27.44, and then the splits meters, okay, 6.3, and then 25 meters 7.3. Of course, those times should be like half of these times. They're more like a fourth, so I got to try to find out where my math, excuse me, is going wrong. But I will get that cleaned up, hopefully, definitely before the final submission of this on Sunday. And just to show some things that I'm researching currently, moving forward into the week 3 and later week 4 portion where we do, where I'm required to do CRUD and API features. Oh, I don't have it up yet. I'm sorry, close the browser window. But basically, I'm using the micro. Going to be using the micro framework Flask and moving forward with that and trying to incorporate Bootstrap into this with Flask, hopefully by Sunday night for the final submission. Then hopefully we'll have the CRUD features working by week 3 and the API features working by week 4 for the final submission. This is my second go around with the class, but you know that's all right. Just got caught up with work last time with my job, but now that I'm got a lot more time to put into this, really want to knock this one out of the park. Thank you for your time. Hope you all have a blessed one. We'll talk with you later.